Big round of applause for Smau.
So would you like to know why I hate you today? It'll certainly be harder for you to understand than for me to explain, for you are, I believe, the most perfect example of feminine impermeability that exists. So begins Charles Butler's Eyes of the Poor. Good morning, my name is Smau, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about literature, the literature culture. I will be going into the specifics of Butler's Paris Clean, how this affected culture itself, and I will also be talking about why this collection is very important to me. So, Paris Clean was written in the mid-1800s. During that time, Louis Napoleon Bonaparte ordered the modernization of Paris. Subsequently, this fell to George Haussmann to do the task, and in doing so, he kicked out a lot of people from their homes because to prevent further rebellion, they had to broaden the streets. So they kicked out a lot of people to be able to build new avenues, to be able to build boulevards, and pretty much make wider streets so you couldn't block them and then shoot from cover. The effect of that was that a lot of people were kicked out of their homes, they were homeless. And because of that backdrop pretty much, a lot of the writers from that time, they began to express a very, very negative, very negative feelings and theories about about homelessness. Paris Clean is an example of that. No, it's not general. Paris Clean is an example of that movement. Specifically, Eyes of the Poor. Like this particular poem, it's not Dickinson. It's not rhythmic. It doesn't have no rhyme. It's just prose. It's using normal everyday vernacular to communicate an idea. It goes in and it makes a mockery of Blazon because it talks about how he spent this whole beautiful day with his girlfriend. Goes into a cafe, but for some reason he notices his girlfriend cannot take in the image that's standing right in front of him. A family of three with the father, a son, and an infant. The eyes of the father said, "How beautiful it is. How beautiful it is. All the gold of the poor world must have found its way onto those walls." The eyes of the little boy, "How beautiful it is. How beautiful it is. But it is a house where only people who are not like us can go." As for the baby, he was much too fascinated to express anything but joy, utterly stupid and profound. It really uses normal everyday vernacular to communicate an idea, and on top of that, it delivers a shock factor that a lot of us we don't take for granted. We try to take it from reality entertainment because a lot of us don't know that it can actually be written into the form of a poem or a novel. And about why this collection is so important to me, I hated poetry. Like, I'm an English literature major, but I hated poetry. It was one of the things I did not like going into. But it took poetry and made it into a form that I can understand, and it helped me build an enthusiasm for the rest of the genre. It helped me be able to understand more about Dickinson, more about the classical poetry. It helped me be able to appreciate the Aeneid, the Odyssey, and the Iliad more because it was written in a form that I could be on the level with. Now that I talked about some of the specificities of literature in the form of Paris Clean, hope you guys are able to understand, like, it's not, literature is more than just a block of words. I talked about how Paris Spleen influences culture, and I talked about how it influences me. So hopefully, you'll give the major a chance.
Yeah.